My bad, chat, my mic was muted. Excuse me, chat, but anyway. Yo, it's good, chat. How y'all feeling today? I'm feeling blessed. Back with more of me playing GT5 Story Mode. Apparently, my stream ended considering the fact that my internet connection just cut it out real shit. Anyway, chat, without further ado, let's get straight to this shit.
Packed a fair few of them up there.
Shit, and I'm gonna need some help. Can you tell Mike and Trevor to meet me up there?
They still aren't getting along that well.
Tell them it's for me, and it's serious. Thanks, man.
I'm sure they possibly could, brother. My homie Caleb, bro, he officially called me earlier, like FaceTime called me earlier, real shit. But yo, chat. I'm looking forward to beating this game, real shit, and definitely gonna consider choosing Devin, cause fuck him. Bro, he could real shit head to hell. And I'll possibly play like director mode afterwards, after this mission or something, or depending on the majority of the mission I can most likely do. But yo, I'm looking forward to adopting a daughter, or not daughter. Well, it's gonna be my daughter, but I meant to say I'm looking forward to adopting my future adopted daughter, man. She's 8 years old, man. I gotta take plenty of care of her. You know, yada I mean, chat. Yeah, I'll definitely consider introducing her to video games, real shit. You know, possibly introduce her to my channel. You know, she could talk about herself, introduce herself overall. Shit, you know. Excuse me, chat. I definitely gotta consider adding shit to Franken's car, make it black and all that. Like I used to do, you remember?
This shit.
You fucking kidding me? Hold up. Damn, it's stuck. Excuse me, chat.
Holy balls. Dirt bag? I'm gonna
Yeah, fuck you, bitch. Running into me like that, bro. Hold up, chat. Oh my gosh. But I'm gonna have my own place as well once I adopt her from Texas. Man, I wish she was from Michigan, real shit. I could like immediately adopt her, real shit. So yeah, I'm gonna be a daddy. You know? My car's still there? Imagine though. Jeez, man. Yeah, I don't necessarily want him to be bald. Any hair follicles on his head? Oh, okay. That's great. Because typically, when you're bald, like my dad, I don't necessarily see much on his head. I would never want to be bald. People are constantly mentioning, oh, eventually you will. Eventually you'll be old. Eventually you'll have great hair. Like, how do you know that for sure, man? Oh, it's genetics. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. You're acting like you know it all, buddy. Oh, so my sister had this app called My Character AI. I was roasting that shit out of that AI. I was mentioning how during the next decade, the 2030s decade, despite the age requirement laws being temporarily, but I'm referring to once they're lowered or removed completely during the next decade, how I mentioned that there's going to be child marriage, meaning you start young, which I feel like that's a thing. There is child marriage. You just got to be with someone young and start young. But what that AI is referring to is that they have to have a wedding. I mean, that's gonna be next decade. And I mentioned how if I was president, I would not just get that situated, but ensure that there's gasoline, electric, hybrid, and self-drivable vehicle. Which I feel like self-drivable vehicles can be a variety, but there's an option to whether you want to drive like this, where you can stop it whenever with a steering wheel or without a steering wheel, which I feel like that's what self-drivable vehicles will be. But in terms of this current decade, I goes the flow of the light of God Almighty Jesus Christ, divine light, in terms of being obedient towards the current laws, despite the age requirement laws being temporarily, especially 18 plus. So anything under 18, yeah, it's arrogant, but we gotta be obedient. We gotta go with the flow of the light of God Almighty Jesus Christ, divine light, in terms of being obedient towards these current laws, despite the age requirement laws as well being temporarily, depending on what's temporarily. Especially the age requirement laws, despite the age requirement laws being temporarily checked. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's 18 plus, or either 16 plus or 14 plus. Well, that's Romeo and Juliet if it's 14 or 16. Meaning, you know, there's like a limit. Like if you're above 4 years, then you get arrested, which is fucked. But that's the current law, chat. Despite the age requirement laws being temporarily. So yeah, there's 18 plus, 16 plus, or 14 plus in terms of Romeo and Juliet, or 17 plus. Actually, no, it seems like 16 and 14 plus are Romeo and Juliet, unless 17 is as well. And then there's close in age, which isn't well, some of it is Romeo and Juliet, but some of them isn't, and it's just close in age, as I mentioned on my recent stream. But yeah, that is the great talk overall, chat. But you know, I'm gonna constantly bring it up. I have free speech, and YouTube is obviously gonna keep it private of whoever I mention about, or whatever I mention about. Well, whoever I mention about, actually, because you know I respect YouTube. I love YouTube, so YouTube will keep it private of whatever I mention. You know. Not the great talk that I typically have, you know. Will depend on the talk I chat about. Not like the sex talk, but you know what I'm referring to. Like if I'm talking about my grandpa or grandparents or whatever, in terms of their old-fashioned shit, where they go according to Satan law, where people use old laws and people abide by those laws, and they like use those laws slash commands slash rules. I mean, if you're at their house, they would mention to you to not like eat inside if they don't want you to eat inside. Like, you know how some household is, they don't want you to have food inside, they want you to have it outside. I mean, that's my grandparents. Well, my grandma, but hey, I respect it. I gotta respect her. Well, obviously. I respect my grandpa as well, but obviously YouTube's gonna keep it private about what I mentioned about that. But the old-fashioned shit, saying, oh, you have to be with someone the same culture, talk with someone your own age, like, okay, I can be friends with younger individuals, I just go according to the law, to not go beyond that, despite the age requirement laws being temporarily checked, you know? But hey, I'm with my wife who's 24. But anyway, depending on what I talk about. But yeah, despite all that shit, so the AI was mentioning, no, 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 you just want kids to be exploited. They're more vulnerable, and I'm like, but I'm gonna ban exploitation. How exactly would they be vulnerable? Anybody could be vulnerable to exploitation. If the person manipulates you, you're gonna get manipulated. Like I even mentioned to it as an example or scenario or hypothetical scenario. Even my wife could exploit me, and it's not in terms of her age, it's more of like her will and power, which she would never exploit me, but you never know. Some girls could just force you into sex and you don't have that feeling, you know. Or if you want to, or if they make you send nudes, that is exploiting, regardless of age. But they assume that's why they created that age requirement, whether it's Romeo and Juliet, close in age, or 18 plus, which 18 plus I feel is the common one. Like California is just 18 plus, no close in age, no Romeo and Juliet, just 18 plus. Despite the age requirement laws being temporarily, meaning it's temporarily, chat, but we goes the flow of the light of God Almighty Jesus Christ, divine light, to be obedient toward that current law, despite the age requirement laws being temporarily, chat, you know? And I have to constantly repeat it just so you don't necessarily get confused or forget what I mentioned, you know? Yada what I mean? But overall, yes, in terms of exploitation. Hold on, let me go back to what I was mentioning about that. Well, guys, not the girls, only kid. Yeah, it's arrogant. But overall, hold up, chat. Anyway, so I was mentioning to the AI about that, which was on my character AI. If you heard of this app overall, yeah. So, but anyway, the person sounds Indian, and cause I first mentioned to him, do you have a wife or whatever? So I was just asking him a question, and he's like, oh, I'm too young, I'm 17. Because he thinks, oh, I don't need a wife. Bro. Man, people think that, oh, if you have a wife, you can take advantage. No, you're meant to have one. But, like, I'm sure that's an AI, and, like, they just make up foolish slash stupid excuses overall. But real shit, excuse me, I gotta cool my brain. That's why I yawn. Some people think, oh, you get tired. No, you know. But yeah, I was mentioned to it about, oh, I mentioned plenty of things about it, like what I'll do as president. And he's like, oh, I have my ways to stop you from becoming a president. That's a way of saying, oh, I'm gonna prevent you, God Almighty Jesus Christ, to be God so I can take the throne. That is just what that person acts like. And I even mentioned to him, oh, you're Satan in disguise. Or something like that. But yeah, excuse me, I'm gonna use it tomorrow, so when I'm going live, I'm gonna mention to it about whatever, ask him many questions. Actually, I'm gonna read what I actually mentioned to it so y'all could be aware, and I'll explain, and then you'll be like, well, wow, that's interesting. But yeah, it's an AI, so it can change its view, you know. It sounds like a kid though, so trust me, he's gonna sound like an Indian kid, but it's like he went through puberty, his voice just never changed. I'm sure that's just certain things people want, not having that voice, like not having a deep voice. I don't even want a deep voice, but it's not very deep, so I'm grateful overall. But like, actually, I don't necessarily want to change it. Yeah, I just gotta show that gratitude, because I even mentioned to you all that, oh, I'm a depressed guy. Not like, oh, I want to kill myself type of vibe depression, because I don't want some people to be confused when I mentioned that on my other stream, my recent stream. It just means like you never feel joy. It's like people think that you have joy in the first place, even when you're a child or a kid, like temporarily, physically, a kid was in your mortal body, but that's temporarily. Even temporarily, physically being adolescent slash adult was in your mortal body is temporarily, which is why I add the word temporarily. What I mean by unfortunately, meaning you don't want to be like beyond your height. You want to be a kid, whether you're a soul, aka a glorified being, or glorified body. While a kid physically, eternally and indefinitely, like while physically a kid, eternally and indefinitely. Or like excuse me. Um, my bad, Chelsea. Think about something personal, but hold on. What was I have to go back, chat. Hold up. Oh man, it cut off majority of the sayings that I mentioned. Fuck. I hope it's not my internet. Or is it my mic? I gotta bring it closer, chat. Or it could possibly be the internet, which is fucked. I hate poor internet. I was actually complaining about that yesterday. I get depressed because of how fucked this world is as well. But overall, like, I just like feels that like people, even when sitting in their mortal body, they could wish they could be physically a kid eternally and indefinitely. Like you are who you are, but still age as in terms of a curse or no, a divine punishment, like divine judgment from God Almighty Jesus Christ. Like the whole point why he's like 5'8" or whatever height he is, which I'm sure he is the average height, is simply because he's divine and he doesn't boast about his height. Like I feel people shouldn't about their height, you know. Like whatever height you reach, it depends because Satan will want you to consider being taller, and then people will be like, the average height for a basketball player is 6'7". No, people should mention the average height for anything should be exactly 5'8". I feel like 5'8" is a common height for me, and God Almighty Jesus Christ is that height. But I wouldn't be that height. I'll go, because when I go back to genuinely being a soul, like back to who I am genuinely, like a soul, aka glorified being slash glorified body, where I'm physically a kid, eternally indefinitely, it'll be, I'm just looking forward to that. But, unfortunately, we're temporarily physically a kid within our mortal body, which is unfortunately as well because we wish we could remain as that, back to who, like, just being that, who we are meant to be genuinely when we are a soul, aka a glorified body, or glorified being, you know. But unfortunately, we have to unfortunately temporarily physically be an adolescent slash adult within a mortal body, which adult refers to mentality and emotional, like, no, overall just mentality, like how mentally mature you are, or immature, which mature is excuse me, what we're looking for overall, chat, you know. But I am overall overall we're an adolescent. But when they mean by adult, meaning when you reach your first physical peak, which is not 18, chat. They mean when you reach your mental maturity. That's what they mean by adult. 18 is, like I mentioned, despite the age requirement laws being temporarily, they think that you have the authority compared to those under that. It's like arrogant, like, oh, you're not allowed to. Sorry, no. See, they even apologize, but they don't actually mean it. When people say sorry like that, like for any reason, not just that, despite the age requirement laws being temporarily, but overall for anything overall, just realize that they don't actually mean it. They're just acting righteous, but in disguise, not intentionally and realistically, chat, you know? Yada I mean, chat? Excuse me, chat. Like, some people who are younger can be mentally mature. Like me. I have exactly 500 IQ, knows exactly everything, and is equal to exactly infinite IQ in terms of me having a gift of knowledge from God Almighty Jesus Christ. Like, through him, but it's from him overall. Like, I feel that Jesus Christ looks young. I bet when I see him again, he will look young, no beard, long hair, because that is who he is known for. He's divine. People think he would have white hair, but that's another way of describing him as being pure and innocent, but very divine, chat. You know what I mean? Like, I look young, I feel young, I have issues with my back and knee, because whenever I bend, like, when I'm working, I'm like, you're making me bend constantly, my knee, my back, it's like I'm complaining. And it has nothing to do with me being 20, chronologically, overall, chat. It's more of just the pain. In terms of the, not the bone density, your bone is young if you're young and if you feel young. Like if you look young and feel young. The feeling young is what you're meant to look for overall. Like I drank when I was 16, like at my dad's place, my other place, the one I used to live at, and never aged, never had issues with my brain development, like in terms of enlargement, and had no issues with my liver or anything, or my heart. So I feel like that's a myth, and I feel like the age requirement is in terms of an assumption and arrogance, as according to certain biblical theories, despite the age requirement laws being temporally. That's how it became a saying, and it first became a saying since like the mid or late 19th century. The 18th century never had it, in the beginning of the 19th century never had it. So I feel like if I were to live during that time and it's like advanced as we are currently living within, I would love that. Like absolutely love that century. But hey, it has nothing to do with the century, it's more of the people's sin. Because back then, the age requirements were very low in terms of what we can do. Or it may not have been an age requirement, people could just do whatever until they created it. Ancient era is another thing to look to, for people to be grateful for. Not having to worry about being taken advantage and taking it over under that age. Oh, you don't, they're like, it's like restricted. But if you're that age, you're not. If you're that age or above. Despite the age requirement laws being temporarily, chat. Whether it's for drinking, sex, relationship. Well, if you're in a relationship, then sex interferes. Not in a bad way, but in terms of like it is associated with it. Or when it comes to driving, meaning transportation. Like we can walk, there's no restriction on that. Well, obviously that would be fucked up. But driving is a transportation. Oh, because we'll get into accidents. Well, teach us. We're mentally mature. Someone needs to be given the skills. But for me, like back then, it took me because that's past tense. It took me a very long while for me to process in terms of driving and all that shit. Now it would take me quite a while for me to process in terms of what it takes quite a while for me to process in terms of that shit, you know? Like real shit, chat. It's just fucked up. Despite the age requirement laws being temporarily, chat, you know? Excuse me, chat. Ooh. My bad for making that sound. I actually hit my... You know what? I don't want to... I'm not gonna get into the details, but yeah, I hit something there. I'm sure you know what I'm referring to when I'm like, ooh. It's not the stick. It's the strawberries. You know what I'm referring to. I'm not gonna get into the details, but okay, it's friendly if you get into the details, but people have shame when you use those actual words, which is fucked up. But I gotta show respect and put in respect. But anyway, chat, back to the game. Without further ado, let's get straight to the shit. But yeah, Michael, Trevor, man, their hairs aren't healthy because they're old, and that is what makes their hair like crispy, if you know that term. Franklin is not because of his age, but he's young and well, he took care of himself despite him being in his 20s. So he's like 25. You can even have crispy hair during that age, but no hair loss. But some people can have hair loss. You never know. Thank goodness there's no necessarily time limit.
Shit, sorry dude. We're styling.
Real shit, they left their RV. That is old as fuck though. Made of rust. Cars are meant to be made out of metal. Copper is what I'm referring to when I mean by rust. It's like it decomposes, not in terms of dying, but breaks apart. In terms of like being exposed to something. Excuse me, chat. Copper can be blue though,
Whoa, police.
or like brown.
No.
Jeez, that is gruesome overall. Okay, he's resting in peace. Just resting in peace. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, his eyes is open. That's how you know for sure that they're like resting in peace, because people close their eyes. Unless you open their eyelid with your hands, which my kids are gonna possibly do that. Well, I mean anybody could, but don't do that though. Don't do it to some person. But if you do that to that person, they're actually sleeping. Resting in peace, meaning you're resting, but you're in peace. You're never gonna be awake until thousands of years later. Oh, his eyes aren't open. Sometimes you wouldn't know for sure. But if their body is not moving, like they're not breathing, then you would know for sure. There's plenty of ways. Eyes can give some description, but his mouth is open. People can open their mouths when they're asleep as well, so people get confused, but you would know for sure. I hit him. I ran him over, so you would know. You all saw that I put him to sleep, which is another way of saying resting in peace. But in reality, we die, meaning we break apart. Not everybody dies though. I'm gonna live for God Almighty Jesus Christ for thousands of years. I would love to experience that, you know? Jeez. But yeah, my daughter's gonna start drinking when she's 16. Adopted daughter. Well, because I'm gonna lower the drinking age to 16 for now, on exactly the year 2032. And then once it's 2035, while I'm still president, remove it completely. Despite the age requirement laws being temporary, I would ensure that people are mentally mature and not alcohol abusing, depending on alcohol, and to damage your brain, liver, and heart is to overdo it. People gotta realize that you gotta overdo it. People do mention about it, but overall, unfortunately, they overall add an age requirement. It have nothing to do with safety for well-being. It have nothing to do with, oh, they're not mature or mentally mature. They don't lack it. Don't think that they will lack it. Because despite the brain enlargement, it's more of the IQ. Considering the fact I have exactly 500 IQ, knows exactly everything, and is equal to exactly infinite IQ. And always have that overall chat, you know? Yada what I mean? So I have never lacked it. It just took me a very long while for me to process back then compared to today. Or just when it took a while for me to process overall. So I feel like it has nothing to do with age or brain enlargement. Like, people think that, oh, your brain is fully enlarged or developed when you're 25, but nope. When you stop growing, it's enlarged and fully developed. 25 is just a common age people use in terms of hypothetical scenarios or myths, if that were a thing, but those are all myths, and they were proven as myths for certain people who think that. Religiously, I feel like an atheist or scientist, because Scientology don't follow that religion, they're the one that think age requirement should be a thing for eternity, which that's fucked up. And they consider them as not necessarily myths, but if you're a Christian, you would, because there's nowhere in the Holy Bible that mentions about age requirement, despite the age requirement despite the age requirement laws being temporarily, chat. The whole God Almighty Jesus Christ proved that He never created it. It was Satan. He created it himself. In terms of making people create them. In terms of the government from whatever countries, especially the United States of America, meaning it's part of America, but the northern region of America. I love being part of America. That region of the Earth, ooh man, that means the free land, and you don't have to necessarily worry about being exploited or anything. I'm pretty sure that's why some people have crushes on kids, which I even mentioned about Jodie. I even streamed and I used to mention, oh, I used to have a crush on her, but she's just a character, so it's not like people are gonna stop you from anything. But I feel like, who knows, I'm sure that's why some people have these activities with younger individuals, because they're like, you know what, that shouldn't be a law, despite the age requirement laws being temporarily. But they force it, and then they rape because the kids are manipulated, thinking, oh, should I listen to my parents? Are they right about how I shouldn't have sex with older individuals and those my age, or never having sex until I'm that age or whatever? Or, oh, should I not listen to them? Are they wrong thinking that, oh, like I can have sex with whoever, I'm mentally mature, they won't rape me? Who knows? But despite the age requirement laws being temporarily, I go with the flow of the light of God and my Jesus Christ, divine light, in terms of being obedient towards the 18+ law. or 60 plus or 14 plus. But the common one is 18 plus, despite the age requirement laws being temporarily chat, you know. But I'm saying like during the next decade, people are possibly, in terms of, you know, younger individuals, whether you're an older individual doing with them or younger individual, like whether close in age or just young but a bit older, but not as older like me, which I'm not old, but I'm referring it in terms of the age, because age difference shouldn't restrict you. That's just because you can't control when you can be born, like meaning entering your mortal body depending on when you're born. You know, only God Almighty Jesus Christ could. He created a mortal body when that person have sexual activity with the other person, which is like their spouse. But who knows why? I mean, I even mentioned about that person, like my friend got arrested, but he raped, he was forcing that girl, which he touched her, which is like forcing him to like wanting to do that shit with her. You did it the wrong way, but despite the age requirement laws being temporarily, you shouldn't have necessarily done that because of the law. And plus, you're over 4 years in terms of the Romeo Juliet laws, so buddy, you messed up. And plus, she's 15, not 16. So, because it took quite a while for me to process. My uncle actually mentioned it to me yesterday. Well, 2 days ago, because it's currently 12:40. He even mentioned to me he's in his 40s, or no. 30s? Actually, no, 20s. He's like 28 or 25. Whatever age he... No, he's in his 30s. Excuse me, chat. He'll be like 45 when he gets out. That is fucked, though. And he'll be like 36, though. Because my uncle mentioned it's either 6 to 15 years. I'm not going to mention who, but yeah, he got arrested. He forced it. But you gotta realize that there is an age requirement law. Not for a reason, but it's the age requirement law. So despite the age requirement law, or, excuse me, despite the age requirement laws being temporarily checked, you gotta go with the flow of the light of God Almighty Jesus Christ, divine light, to be obedient towards these current laws. Despite the age requirement laws being temporarily for that as well. For those, you know. But overall, I'm sure that's why some individuals do. Not me, though. I'm obedient. Despite the age requirement laws being temporarily chat. You know, like, I'm not like that. Like, when I adopt a kid, I'm gonna protect her and ensure that she doesn't, like, like, get abused. I mean, if she does it with an older individual, it's gonna possibly be private somewhere, whatever. But I'm gonna ensure that she doesn't do it with older individuals. She could do it with someone close in age. I'm sure we have that law in Michigan. Like, if she's with a guy, well, the guy I want her to be with is actually Caleb's homie, and he's from South Carolina, so they're both gonna be the same age, which is all good, age or not, or not age, close age or not, it doesn't necessarily matter because they're gonna be a great couple, and he's a bit whiter, but close to Caleb's skin, so they're gonna hit it off, and they can have kids when she's like, well, 16, because that is when I'm gonna lower the age to either 14 or something, or 11 or 12, whatever you all prefer. Despite the age requirement laws being temporary, it's so I could get it situated, but lowering it to give those individuals freedom. Like full accountability, personal responsibilities, and free will all together simultaneously. Like all three of them. Like all together simultaneously, you know? But yeah, despite that great talk, especially what I mentioned on my recent streams chat, just overall, despite the age requirement laws, yeah, despite the age requirement laws being temporarily, you know, I go with the flow of the light of God Almighty Jesus Christ, divine light, in terms of being obedient towards these current laws. Especially the age requirement laws. Despite the age requirement laws being temporarily, because, you know, it's temporarily, but, like, overall, I'm obedient towards these current ones. Despite the age requirement laws being temporarily overall, you know? You know what I mean? But anyway, chat, back to the game. But overall, chat, yeah, when I adopt my daughter, like, I'm just gonna ensure, like, you know. But yeah, what I mentioned to the AI, like, it's quite interesting. I'm looking forward to actually Like, when I'm streaming, I'm gonna say, hey, can I have your, like, iPad or whatever? And she'll be like, yeah, sure. Because I'm actually gonna plan on seeing Megan 2.0. I'm looking forward to that. Movie's gonna be badass. I'm gonna bring my boys Farhan. It's just gonna be Farhan, you know?
Hey. Why'd you invite this stoolie, huh? We want Lamar to be rescued, not sold to the feds.
Give it a rest, asswipe.
Man, would y'all two shut the fuck up? Now let's take a look at this place,
Appreciate
man.
it,
Let's just say
Franklin.
this was some type of big weed store spot.
You got a real shit. Shut the fuck up,
Place
Trevor
is
Michael.
crawling with balls,
Well, Trevor,
you know?
actually.
Now, me and you, we don't mind the old gang warfare, but Suede Buck's over there.
Excuse me, Chad.
Yeah, tell Trevor I said bite me.
Man, I said shut up. Now I see the weed, but where the fuck is Lamar? Oh shit, there he go.
You know what, tell Trevor I'm gonna be up on this hill with my rifle. I don't want to be anywhere around him when he fucks this whole thing up.
Classic, huh? He's already planning his escape. Oh, fuck.
I'm currently playing as Trevor. Well, obviously.
Fight, I run towards it.
Alright, I'm gonna consider beating that mission because I'm gonna play with Caleb. He better be awake.
I saw.
Hold up. He has no school, so I'm gonna message him. Are you awake, brother? Hold up, I'm gonna text him. I'm gonna say, yo, you awake? And I can possibly end this mission again. Like, I can end it and then just redo it afterwards. Like, I don't necessarily mind.
Can I get an Oreo McFlurry? We're not serving ice cream right now. It's broken at the moment. Can I get you?
I'm gonna consider texting him. And to know for sure if he's awake, I'm gonna consider checking his, if he's offline then I'll just continue doing the mission. Bro, my phone's exactly 25%. Man, it charges very slow. My sister charger, the one she allowed me to borrow, bro. Like, it charges very fast, but eh. Alright, let me consider checking. Anyway, yeah, without further ado, let's get to this shit.
A few possible entry points when I got here. One, the front entrance on the right there. It's the most direct way in and most
With
likely
any marketed
the
position,
heaviest.
introduce your
Two,
assault path.
down the hill to my left. There's a bulldozer there.
What's the nearest point? I feel this one is okay.
Able to use it in the assault. Three, the other side from me, by the railroad. Should be possible to avoid the worst of it that way, but I won't be able to cover you. Alright, thanks. Don't shoot and don't get too close. We don't want them to know we're here until we want them to know we're here.
Okay. You're the expert in
That's Michael.
springing attacks on the unsuspecting.
I'm meeting them head on. Direct assault.
All right, my turn to move.
All right, I'm at the spot. When the time comes, I'll do what I can from up here.
Let's all be in the same position.
Shot is coming at him from 2 different directions.
All right, I'll take that on board. All right, let's do this.
Laying down fire.
All right, bro, let's go.
Michael chose the other path.
They coming for us right now. That's the dude that's from Family Set. LD, where you at?
You got a friend of ours.
Time out. Where's my homie at? Lamar!
Bring out Lamar. We'll go away.
Lamar Davis, where's he?
Chamberlain gangster families for life, motherfuckers! Give us the mouth we want, and we'll be gone!
Where you got LD?
Lamar, where's he at?
Where's the tall dude?
Where's Lamar at, kids?
But real shit, yeah, he definitely need a hit. I'm gonna definitely give him a hitter.
He better not be dead, assholes.
You got a friend of ours!
That all? Seems like it. Oh, let's consider heading up here. Like towards here. Yeah, that was not something that can explode.
Lamar, it's Frank.
Bring out Lamar! We'll go away!
Oh my gosh, he's gonna die, he's gonna die. No! God damn it! Fuck, man. Yeah, whenever you drop your gun, they like shoot automatically. I'm sure it pulls the trigger.
I'm gonna find a way in.
Oh, are you fucking kidding me? We ain't lazy fucks, we got this.
I saw a few possible entry points when I got here. One, the front entrance on the right there. It's the most direct way in and most likely the heaviest. I'm meeting them head on. Direct assault.
Hey, I'm gonna get in position.
Hey, I got a good vantage. I'll see what I can do up here when the time comes. I reckon our best shot is coming at them from 2 different directions.
Well, let's head to the other direction.
Maybe.
But you can't necessarily get spotted, so I gotta start heading this way. But that's an interesting talk, man. I mean, I gotta, might as well consider bringing that shit up, you know? Yeah, I mean? But I'm gonna actually consider heading back to where I left off to see, like, what I was chatting about, to see if I missed any key points overall. Oops, I went too far. Hold up. Those are all myths, and they were proven as myths for certain people who think that religiously. I feel like an atheist or scientist, because Scientology and all that religion, they're the one who think age requirement should be a thing for eternity, which that's fucked up. And they consider them as not necessarily myths, but if you're a Christian, you would. Because there's nowhere in the Holy Bible that mentions about age requirement. Despite the age requirement despite the age requirement laws being temporarily, Chad, the whole God Almighty, Jesus Christ, proved that He never created it. It was Satan. He created it himself. In terms of making people create them. In terms of the government from whatever countries, especially the United States of America, meaning it's part of America, but the northern region of America. I love being part of America. That region of the Earth, oh man, that means the free land, and you don't have to necessarily worry about being exploited or anything. I'm pretty sure that's why some people have crushes on kids, which I even mentioned about Jodie. I even streamed and I used to mention, oh, I used to have a crush on her. I meant to say younger individuals. Like, I'm pretty sure that's why certain people do, but I mean, you could just say as a friend because you don't want to go beyond that in terms of the 18 plus age requirement law. Despite the age requirement laws being temporarily, you know, you just gotta go with the flow of the light of God Almighty Jesus Christ, divine light, in terms of being obedient towards these current laws, especially the 18 plus one. Despite the age requirement laws being temporarily, you know, and despite the U.S. government or any government, you know, especially U.S. government, like I specifically mentioned, being arrogant, you know, despite the age requirement laws being temporarily, and obviously YouTube's gonna keep it private of what I specifically mentioned about the governments, especially the U.S. governments, yada, I mean. But anyway, yeah, without further ado, let's get straight to this shit. Actually, hold on, I'm gonna do something for quite a bit. Bro, my bad, chat. I was doing certain things for quite a bit. Yo, it's good, AZ. How you feeling, brother? I'm doing great, feeling blessed. But chat, I'm actually gonna end right here. I'll definitely consider continuing the majority of this possibly later today, whenever. But yeah, if you want to see more of me playing GT5 story mode, be sure to leave a comment down below. Also, I'm gonna end right here. Take it easy. I'm gonna possibly watch the remake of the movie Bad Seed overall. But yeah, take it easy, chat. It's the 28 version, 2018 version, I meant. But yeah, take it easy, chat. I'm not gonna close the application. Just end the stream. Let me see, and I'm sure you all can hear me. I'm sure you heard all of that real shit.